Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, honesty, and of course, my comments. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys. Man, I got a lot of different things to touch on. And 90% of them are not good, unfortunately. But that's what happens when you're 1-5. Let me get to Big E real quick. He's got a comment that I'm going to get into in one of my segments. First up, Bronco, our Big E Bronco, glad to have you in the chat. Glad to have you in the show. Always appreciate your comments as always. And you are riding shotgun, very first one in the chat. So hats off to you, man. Congratulations thank you for being here. Pro appreciate it. He says, hope everyone's having a good day. Yes, I'm having a really good day. Wasn't having a good night last night, but I'm having a good day today because bottom line is can't change it. I'm not playing. I'm not part of the team. I can only cheer. Okay, this is what I want to get into, and I'm going to save that for a little bit, Big E, your second point, or your first point, I should say. I'm going to hold off on that until I get to that segment, which is the second part or the second segment of the show. All right, here we go, guys. Welcome everybody in from Facebook, from YouTube, from Twitter. Glad to have you in here. If you want to chime in, apparently I can't see anybody on Twitter. So if you want to chime in on the chat, jump over to YouTube or if you have Facebook. All right, recapping Thursday night's game, Broncos at Kansas City, 15 games in a row on the line that the Broncos have lost to the Chiefs was on the line last night in prime time. All right, let's get to it. Last night, was it the offense that lost the game? Was it the defense that lost the game? Or was it special teams? My opinion, looking at the game, the defense did not lose this game. And here's the reason why. All right. First off, the final score was 19-8. It wasn't a blowout. The Broncos were in this game. They were totally in this game. And the reason why they were in the game is because they were only down by 2 scores at the end of the game. Now, granted, I'm going to get into, how the game went, but the defense did not lose this game. They didn't win it either, but they didn't lose it. It could have been a lot worse. Justin Simmons came up with an interception as the Chiefs were driving. He picked it off right at the goal line and then ran it back to the 7-yard line. So that stopped at least a field goal. So that stopped the field goal. There were stops that the Broncos made when they had to make them. The problem of it was in the game was that the Broncos defense was playing that stupid, idiotic zone coverage. And Travis Kelce was out there on an island by himself. Nobody around him. Why? Because it's a zone. It's a gap. You got guys front, you got guys back, and Travis Kelce's right in the middle. You can't do it. Not against a team like the Chiefs. Or heck, Broncos been playing zone all year, and they haven't been able to figure out how to cover anybody in a zone. This defense is not designed, in my opinion, to play a zone. And Vance Joseph constantly goes to it. When it was man-to-man, yes, there were times where Travis Kelce got open against Patrick Surtain, but that was a crossing route, and Patrick Surtain picked him up, and he was right on him, but Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce. What are you going to do? But the bottom line is it was much better in the man-to-man than it is when they're in a zone. Okay, moving on from that, and I mentioned it wasn't the defense that lost this game. It wasn't the offense that lost. I mean, it wasn't the defense that won the game either because we didn't win. We lost 19-8. It was the offense this time. Vance Joseph's defense only gave up 1 touchdown. That's it, just 1. The rest were field goals. 7. It was 3-0 at first. Then it was 10-0. Then it was 13. Then it was 16. And then Denver scored a touchdown, and I'll get to that too. A brilliant catch by Cortland Sutton, one-handed, and kept his feet in bounds. Just an amazing catch. Cortland Sutton, there's a lot of talk about trades. I'll get into that too. But Cortland Sutton made an absolutely ridiculous catch for a touchdown. Broncos went for 2 to narrow the gap to 1 score, a touchdown and 2-point conversion. But then the defense, because the offense couldn't stay on the field and they had to punt, the Chiefs went down the field, got a field goal, and that was icing on the cake, so to speak, because the game was over by then. So it wasn't the defense that lost this game. Did the Broncos defense? Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. They played good, and they played great at times. Great by the standpoint that they held them to field goals, 4 of them. Held them to 4 field goals. But the touchdown came when Sean Payton decided to go for it on 4th and 3 in the Broncos territory. I think the Broncos were on their own 42, 43, 45-yard line. Stupid. You don't give the Chiefs a shorter field. You punt the ball away and you allow your defense. Now, maybe Sean Payton would say, okay, our defense hasn't played that well. I mean, heaven forbid, not too long ago, the Broncos gave up 70 points to the Dolphins. And the Chiefs, in my opinion, are much better than the Dolphins. So maybe Sean Payton's like, yeah, you know what? I need to go for this. I need to go because I just don't trust our defense to hold them. Well, the defense did really well last Thursday night. But it's the offense that didn't get it going. Russell Wilson only threw for 90 total yards passing. He ran for another 30 or so because he had to. The offensive line could not hold up. Russell Wilson was running for his life 90% of the time whenever he's rolling out of the pocket. And then when he threw the ball, when he was in the pocket, the Kansas City Chiefs defenders were knocking it down. One resulted in interception. Why? Because Sean Payton is only about 3'10". I know, guys, I'm being facetious, but that's what it seems like. I mean, you got defenders up here and Russell Wilson down here. Where's he going to throw the ball? That's why maybe he rolls out of the pocket because he cannot freaking see over those guys' heads. And then he threw another interception into double coverage, meaning one guy in the front, one guy in the back, and it was his zone. And then the receiver was in the middle. Russell Wilson never got it over the first defender's head. 2 interceptions. 90 yards passing, 30 yards running. No wonder the Broncos didn't score until the 4th quarter. And then getting into that score, when it was 16-0, Cortland Sutton makes an absolutely ridiculous catch. I mean, ridiculous catch. Reaching back, catches one hand, pulls it into his body. His other hand, his left hand, comes across, or maybe it was a right hand, whatever. But anyways, he secured the ball, got both feet in bounds, as well as his butt when he landed in his hip, and it was ruled a touchdown. Denver goes for 2, and they get the 2-point conversion on a run up the middle, and now it's 16-8. But then the Broncos defense didn't hold. Am I putting all the blame on the Broncos defense on that last possession that the Chiefs scored a field goal to seal the deal? No, I can't put it all on that because the Broncos offense was pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. The leading receiver was it Jeudy or Cortland Sutton? One of them, but it was 49 yards. 49 yards. That's it. Leading receiver. Wow. And we're wondering why the Broncos are 1-5. I'm not. I'm starting to see an absolute pattern in this. I'm seeing a direct pattern. And I'm going to get into that right after I go back to the chat. All right, so now let's go to the chat. What I promised, Biggie says this. Biggie says, hear me out. I know people are saying there's no trade value for Russell Wilson, but coaches are arrogant. So general manager does have trade value. So Russell Wilson, what he's saying is Russell Wilson has trade value if somebody will trade for him. He goes on and mentions that Washington, Atlanta, Tennessee, New England all have quarterback issues. Very, very true, Biggie. Very, very true. But the problem is this. It's the contract that Russell Wilson signed. Realistically, we cannot part ways with him until after the 2024 season because the hit we're going to take is going to be astronomical. We can get out we being Broncos, I'm part of the Broncos in my fan base, so I'm saying we as the Broncos are better off keeping him for another year and drafting a quarterback, letting the quarterback learn under Russell Wilson. Maybe not so much under Sean Payton. Learn under Sean Payton with Russell Wilson there, and then put in the rookie in the 2025 season. Let Russell Wilson play remainder of this year. It's already gone. Well, I'm going to get into that too. But in any case, I don't see where a trade value definitely is not going to happen by the trade value this year, October 31st. It may happen next year before October 31st trade deadline. I'm not saying it's not going to. It could. But as of right now, Russell Wilson isn't going anywhere because there's too much backloaded money to give to him, plus salary cap would be astronomical to swallow. Has George Payton made some very, very bad moves? Yes, he has. Is Russell Wilson one of them? So far, it's looking like that. So far, it's looking like that because of everything we gave away, all the trades we gave away, and Russell Wilson's inability to get the offense going. And another thing that I want to mention about that real quick before I jump into what I'm going to say about Russell Wilson and all that. The other thing was going to say is this. The Denver Broncos look an awful lot like last year's team. Now, last year, Nathaniel Hackett, after 6 games, was 2-4 as a Broncos head coach. Our record under Sean Payton, is it better than Nathaniel Hackett, who in Sean Payton's estimation is the worst ever head coach in the entire NFL? Sean Payton, look in the mirror. Your record is 1-5 as a Broncos head coach. And no, it's not with a different quarterback. It's with the same quarterback. It's with the same receivers. It's the same with the basic offensive line. Same running back. We didn't have Javonte Williams last year because he was injured. So we got Javonte Williams healthy. And we have McLaughlin, and he's running strong. Our defense is the same. We still have Patrick Surtain. We still have Justin Simmons. We still have Josie Jewell. We still have our key players on the team, but the results are worse. So explain it to me, guys. Explain it to me out there. Is it Sean Payton's fault? Was it Nathaniel Hackett's fault last year? Is it a Russell Wilson issue? Is it an offensive coordinator? Yeah, well, that's Sean Payton. He's calling the plays. Is it Vance Joseph? Yeah, to a big degree it is. Vance Joseph defense has been horrific until Thursday night's game against the Chiefs. And the reason why I say that, because you held a powerful Chiefs team to 19 points, 4 field goals. That was it. 4 field goals. That's it. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, 12-7, 19. There you go. So we held them to 4 field goals and 1 touchdown. And yet Denver could not win the game. They couldn't even win the game on that. So it's the offense. But what is it about the offense? To me, I hate to say it, and I have to agree with Big E. It looks like the experiment, and I say experiment in quotes, that's just me saying the experiment with Russell Wilson is not working. Because Sean Payton came in here to fix Russell Wilson, and we're still having the same issues. Interceptions, lack of play calling. Play calling's horrific. It looks like he's reading right off of Nathaniel Hackett's playbook. He went for it on 4th and 3 inside the Broncos' own territory. Stupid, idiotic, dumb, ridiculous. Calls timeout on 4th down and he thought it was 3rd down. Really? Hey, come on, Sean, you were only out of the booth for 1 year. Did you lose that much up here? You forgot? What the heck? Unfreaking believable. All right, I'm going to welcome some other people in here before I keep going. All right, Clayton Huron says, hey, Bill, smash that like button and share, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Share the network, share the show, share with anybody and everybody you know. I really appreciate it. All right. Clayton also says, man, way to go, defense. Offense, not so well. No, you're right. Yeah, the defense was absolutely not great, but they held their own on Thursday night. Absolutely held their own. Offense, nope. And 1 week it's offense that's doing relatively well. When we came back and beat the Bears, when we had that big lead against Washington, that those offense was doing rather well. Defense, nope. This Broncos team is not a 60-minute team. It's not. It's not a 60-minute team. We either play great in the first half or decent in the first half, or we play decent or above decent on the second half, or we flip it. We play decent in the first half like he did against Washington, and we play horrible in the second half and lose the game. Or like the Bears, we played horrible in the first half, we're trailing. Second half, we came back and won. So I don't know. This team is absolutely dysfunctional. Totally dysfunctional. And I'm not too sure it's a coaching issue, because both coaches in Hackett and Sean Payton, cannot get the results from Russell Wilson. So that takes me into my next topic right after I get back to some of these guys. Avatar is in the house. Nice to see Avatar. I don't believe the Chiefs have a better offense than Miami. Whoa, okay. But Miami, you're right. Miami's got some speedsters. They really do. They got some guys who can run, who can catch. Now, that would be a game I'd like to see. Miami against Kansas City. Now, that would be a game. I'd like to see how that turns out. But you're probably right. Travis Kelce just seems to be the only major weapon for KC. But Miami's main weapon is Hill, Tyreek Hill. So, I mean, they both have great athletes. I think it would come down to defense, and Miami's defense is much better than Kansas City. So you're probably right, Avatar. Probably right. I'll go with you on that. Okay. Avatar also says, I was so sure Zach Allen had sacked Mahomes out of field goal range. I thought so too, but that 62-yard field goal was clutch. I mean, I can't stand the Chiefs, but that field goal was clutch. I really thought that I'd forgotten about that sack. Thanks, Avatar. Yeah, I really thought that there's no way he's going to make it, but because they're not playing in Denver. They weren't playing in Denver. They're playing in Kansas City, and so I didn't think he had the leg. But by golly, did he nail it, man, right down the middle. And that was the death nail in the Broncos' coffin for sure that night. Absolutely, for sure. Excuse me, guys. Alex Smith is in the house. Alex, nice to see you. Always great to have you in chat. Well, he was set up to fail by Hackett. You're right. He was set up to fail by. And it just seems that failing consistency is continuing. And that's alarming. And the reason why it's alarming is because we have a bona fide, legitimate Super Bowl winning head coach of 15 years. And what he did with Drew Brees and how he made Drew Brees better. So I'm not sure that it's anybody else but Russell Wilson just not getting it. I don't know. I absolutely don't know. Either that or Russell Wilson was so damaged by Nathaniel Hackett and just it got into his head up here. He just can't get those Hackett demons out of his head. Maybe that's the issue. I have no idea. But it just seems to me that when you have a first-year head coach at Hackett that totally screws it up but has a 2-4 record after 6 games, and Sean Payton, who is a well-seasoned Super Bowl winning head coach, and his record is 1-5 with Russell Wilson, that sounds to me like it's a Russell Wilson issue. That's all I'm saying. Biggie says Kansas City was running an offense. High school football team would run the defense. Wasn't that great? Yeah. Okay, I'll agree. All right. I understand. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Now let's move on to why I think it might be a Russell Wilson issue. That didn't need to come out. All right. Okay. Is it time to move on? This goes back to the comment that Big E made earlier about trading for Russell Wilson. All right, here we go. Russell Wilson hasn't been the main problem of the Broncos. That's mostly falls on Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator. However, per Denver Post writer Mark Kiswa, it's time to shut down Era's tour of Russell Wilson and admit, oh boy, I don't know if George Payton can admit this, but admit, where am I? And then admit that they need a new quarterback. Kiswa goes on to say, and I quote, Russell Wilson's record as Broncos quarterback as the team starter is 5-16. That goes back to Hackett, of course, and this year, 5-16. That sample size is now large enough to know that dang Russ isn't the answer in Denver, end quote. Wow. That comes from Denver Broncos, Denver Post, I should say, Denver Post beat writer saying it's time to move on from Russell Wilson. Okay. Going back what Big E said about trading for him and the fact that the Broncos will lose a boatload of money that the owners are probably not really excited about giving away for nothing. I say you can't let him go now. Does that mean, though, that you keep playing Russell Wilson the entire year? Do you burn him out so that he looks horrendous and nobody will trade for him? Or if you do end up trading Russell Wilson, then does that mean you're only going to get a 7th or 6th or 7th round draft pick? Maybe you won't get one this coming year or 2024. Maybe you won't get one until 2025, and it might even be a 5th round or 6th round. Are they willing to do that? Because if Russell Wilson just goes down the porcelain fixture like he's doing, 90 yards passing against Kansas City's defense, really? Then I'm saying we're not going to get anything for him, and we're going to end up chewing a big chunk of his salary, and we're going to have salary cap that is going to hurt us for years to come. I don't mean, tens of years. I mean, several years it will hurt us. It's not feasible to do it this year. But that takes me into the third topic. And here that is. Is it time, if it's not time to trade Russell Wilson, is it time to bench Russell Wilson? And it goes back to what I was saying earlier, just a few minutes ago. Do you burn Russell Wilson out, to the point where he just doesn't have it anymore? You keep him in there. Maybe he gets hurt. Hopefully not, but it could happen. It happened last year. Do you keep him in there to face the onslaught of the defenders who basically know what Denver's going to do? Because last night, man, every time, first down, we're running the ball. Boom, they knew it. Then when we had to pass it, they knew it. And I'll get into that too, because there's an interesting thing about that. In any case, do we bench Russell Wilson? We're 1-5, guys. We're 1-5. Do you realize, before I get to bench him, do you realize in order for the Broncos to have a winning season, okay, they've already lost 5. There's 17 games in a season. That means they can only lose 3 more to have 8 losses and hopefully have 9 wins. Are the Broncos capable of going 8-3 down the stretch? Well, let me ask you guys this, all right? Let me ask you. And chime in the chat. I'd like to know what you think. We lost to Kansas City on Thursday night. We have Green Bay a week from Sunday at home. Okay, I'll give a win on that one. We have Kansas City following that 2 weeks from this Sunday at home, Kansas City. Do you think we're going to win that game? No, we're not going to win that game. Okay, then we have a bye, week 9. Then we go to Buffalo Monday night. That looks like a loss to me, and I'll tell you why. Because it's in Buffalo. And it's in November. It's going to be freaking cold. And it's Monday night. All right. Then we got the Vikings at home. Okay. We could probably win that one. Then we got the Browns at home. Okay. We'll win that one. We got Houston Texans on the road. Well, Houston looks pretty good, but I think we can beat them. Then we got the Chargers on the road. Let's say we lose that one. Okay. Then we got the Lions. Uh-oh. The Lions are freaking good. So that would be the 4th loss. Kansas City, Buffalo, Chargers, Lions. Okay, that's 4 losses. You can't have that and have a winning season. And then we got the New England Patriots at home. We should win that one. Then we got the Chargers at home. Well, hopefully we win that one. Then we got the Raiders on the road at the end of the season. So, which of the 4 teams I mentioned are we going to beat? Is it going to be the Chiefs at home? No, I don't think so. Buffalo on the road? Probably not. Chargers on the road? That's the one that we need to win because we're not beating the Lions on the road. No freaking way. The way the Lions are playing, I don't see us beating them at all. I did before the season started, but I don't see it now. The only way the Broncos are going to have a winning record is to go 8-3. 8-3. And the only 3 losses that I see that they are pervious to getting in order to get that 9-8 overall record would be lose to the Chiefs, lose to the Bills, lose to the Lions. You have to sweep the Chargers. They haven't done that in years. I'm telling you guys, this team is a mess. This team is an absolute mess. And I'm not sure how to get out of it. I'm totally not sure how we get out of it. All right. Okay. Okay, here we go. Alex Smith says it's all talk by the media. For instance, look how long it took the Jets to sign Aaron Rodgers. There's much more involved than you think. Media is all talk to make things a good story and the fans buy into it. Okay, I would agree with that. That's very true. But you know what? Look at games. Look at the results. Look at the way the Broncos are playing. Okay, I want to touch on this too. Big E Bronco also says it was Hackett's fault that we even got Russell Wilson when Aaron Rodgers went back to Green Bay. He was asked if he wanted Russell Wilson. He said yes, and he did it himself. There you go. All right. Well, the Broncos needed to land a top-notch quarterback. They needed to. They needed to have somebody that could come in that could kind of be like Peyton Manning, which wasn't ever going to happen. Not even with Aaron Rodgers. But the bottom line is the Broncos made the move, and now they're stuck with it, in my opinion, to at least 2025. And it could be beyond that. I doubt it unless things get absolutely turned around. I don't see that happening. I see what the Broncos have to eat the contract and keep Russell Wilson on the team at least through this year. But do you bench Russell Wilson for Jarrett Stidham? Here it is. A lot of Denver media, as well as NFL analysts, are saying it's time to bench Russell Wilson in the wake of a 1-5 record. At this point in time, I would have to agree. And I'll put it to you this way, okay? Our bye week comes in week 9. We have 2 games left before our bye week. That's the game at home against the Green Bay Packers a week from this Sunday. And 2 weeks from this Sunday, we host the Kansas City Chiefs in Denver. Okay? Do we bench Russell Wilson before the bye week, or do we bench him after the bye week? And the first game after the bye week is in Buffalo against the Buffalo Bills. Do we put in Stidham after a bye week in order to get focused on the Buffalo Bills? Do we put Stidham in there, or do we keep Wilson? I don't know. It all depends on how we play against Green Bay. If we beat Green Bay and then somehow find a way to snap the 16-game losing streak against the Chiefs, yes, it was 16 after Thursday's game. If we find a way to beat the Chiefs and now we're 3-5, do we keep Russell Wilson as starting quarterback in Buffalo? I say yes. Problem is, what if we lose to Green Bay and Kansas City? Now we're 1-7. Now we have to bench Russell Wilson. We have to bench him because it's not getting any better. It's not getting any better. And a lot of people have said, well, why don't we just tank to get Caleb Williams from USC? I say there's no guarantee we're going to get him. I mean, if we're not the number 1 draft pick, which the Broncos in the history of the Denver Broncos have never had the first overall pick in an NFL draft. Ever. And it would be sad that we do get it this year after all the hoopla and all the hype and everything about Sean Payton and what he's going to do for Denver, what he's going to do for Russell Wilson. It's going to be a much better team. and blah, blah, blah. Well, that hasn't materialized. And if it continues down this freaking porcelain toilet and goes 1-7 by the bye week, I guarantee you there's going to be heads rolling. There is definitely going to be contracts cut. I mean, players are going to be cut. They're going to be traded. This team is going to go into a massive fire sale of the likes I've never seen before in Broncos history. And as Broncos fan from 1976, I do not want to see this happen in my lifetime. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Pat Bowlen, thank goodness he can't see what's happening to the Broncos, because this is not the Pat Bowlen team that I'm used to. And I know Pat Bowlen isn't around anymore, and the Bowlen family isn't in control of the Broncos, but this Bronco team is nowhere near the glory years of Orange Crush or the mid-90s or even the 80s when we constantly went to the championship game. Excuse me, guys. And I know we lost in Super Bowls, but it doesn't matter. When you're there, you're representing the only team in the AFC. And Denver had done that multiple times in the 80s. And then they won it back-to-back in the 90s. And then they won it again in 2016 with Peyton Manning. That's the Super Bowl quality teams of the Denver Broncos I'm used to. I'm not used to this. And I'm getting frustrated. But I don't know at what angle I'm getting frustrated. Am I getting frustrated at the defense? Sure. And most of the time I am. Then I'm getting frustrated at the offense. Then I'm getting frustrated at Sean Payton for calling stupid plays or going forward on 4th down and 3 in your own territory. Or Russell Wilson not getting rid of the freaking ball and fumbling against the Jets. And then throwing 2 interceptions last night against the Chiefs because he can't see over the freaking line. And he throws into double coverage on his zone. Stuff like that is irritating. It's frustrating. And I'm not used to it. And I don't want to get used to it. But it seems like I'm kind of getting used to it because it's been 6 years of futility with this team. No matter who's our head coach is, we are the same horrible, pathetic team. Since, how ironic, since Pat Bowlen's family didn't own the team anymore. Well, they actually did, after, but yeah, you know what I'm trying to say is after Gary Kubiak was our head coach. We haven't had any head coach that's had a winning season. I think maybe there have been one. Maybe I think it was 8-8 and something like that, or maybe 9-7 at one point. But that's the only one. No playoffs. Playoffs. Don't talk to me about playoffs. Absolutely not. Not with this team. This is it's uncanny. It's absolutely uncanny, and it's driving me insane. What else is driving me insane is I'll get to that in just a second. Bawani Beast is in the house. Hey, Bawani Beast, nice to have you in. As always, thanks for stopping in with the chat. He says, do you really want to tell your D on drive 1 you don't trust him? That's the point. That's what I'm saying. When you go for it on 4th down and 3 in your own territory, I think it was a 42 or 45, somewhere in there. It wasn't in Chiefs territory. That's basically, you're right, Bawani Beast. You're basically sending a message to the defense. We don't trust you. And I don't blame Sean Payton. To a certain degree, I don't blame Sean Payton because the defense hasn't been all that good all year. But you can't take that chance on inside your own territory against the Kansas City Chiefs and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, who nobody seems to be able to get a hand on him. You're gonna entrust the defense to hold them away out of the end zone. Well, they did hold them out of the end zone. But to keep them off the board when you've given them the ball inside your own territory, that's not smart coaching. That's not smart football. It's not. Common sense says punt the ball away. Make them drive the length of the field. You never know what can happen. Could be a tip ball like it was when Justin Simmons intercepted it at the goal line and ran it back to the 7-yard line. Or ran it up to the 7-yard line, I should say. So you got to look at the bigger picture, Sean. You can't look in a doggone microscope. You have to look at the bigger picture. Microscope is going to give you this little thing. You can't do that. You need to do your due diligence. Do what you know is the correct thing to do. Absolutely. Don't make stupid mistakes. You don't want the players on the field to make mistakes like fumble, interception, penalties, whatever. You're making mistakes coaching. You're absolutely making mistakes coaching. So what does that tell me? Is your head not in the game either? Have you lost how to coach? Is a game passed you by after just being in the booth for 1 year? Kind of sure looks like it. Okay. Buena Beast also says Drew Brees gets more kudos now from me. Yeah, I would agree. Drew Brees, he listened to Sean Payton. He did what Sean Payton wanted to do, and he executed, and he did it. Doesn't look like Russell Wilson's able to do that. And that's bothersome. Very, very bothersome. Okay. Alex Smith says, our fans have no patience. I would have been willing to give Hackett at least 3 years. What about me? Talking about me. What about you, Bill? The one thing I didn't like about Hackett, the main thing that I didn't like about it is that he was a very, very raw kind of guy. I don't mean raw. Well, he was raw. He wasn't seasoned head coach. But raw as in, yeah, okay, we got this. Okay, come on in, guys. Everybody give me a high five and all that. He seemed more like a buddy than he was as a coach. And that bothered me. Also, the type of, calling timeout when it shouldn't have been called, not knowing when to call timeout, not getting the playbook into Russell Wilson fast enough so they're taking delay of game penalties. The fans got involved by counting down, the play clock, and that was embarrassing. And the way we lost to Seattle by going for a 64-yard field goal with a kicker that never made a field goal beyond 60 yards instead of putting the ball in Russell Wilson's hands. I mean, things like that, to me, don't add up to being a really good head coach. Do I think he could have been better 2 more years later, like this year and next year? I don't know. Because he didn't seem to get better as the season went on. That's for sure. I mean, we only won 5 games, and 4 of them were with Wilson. The other one was with the backup. I can't think of his name now. I know he's not on the team anymore. But anyways, he only won 5 games. So it may be. We may look at this hindsight. We may look back at this hindsight. But the thing of it is this. Okay. Bottom line is this: is it a Russell Wilson issue, or is it Sean Payton and Nathaniel Hackett issue? I'm thinking it's not a Sean Payton or Nathaniel Hackett issue. It's a Russell Wilson issue, in my opinion. And I stated that earlier, saying that you have 2 different head coaches, 2 different styles, and Russell Wilson is looking worse than he did last year. And Sean Payton called Nathaniel Hackett the worst head coach the entire NFL has ever seen. So, going back to what I said, Sean Payton's 1-5. Nathaniel Hackett was 2-4 last year, same exact after 6 games. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you guys something on my phone. I'm going to hold it up to the camera. This is a little bit alarming. And I'm wondering if this is any reason as to why some teams look like they know what the Broncos are doing. Okay. Here we go. Let me, whoa. Got lit up right here on the chat. Muhammad Badri says, "Sup, Bill? Hey, man, what's happening, Muhammad? Nice to have you in the chat. Nice to have you on the show. Appreciate it. Rising Rhino in the house. Love it, Rising Rhino. Thanks so much, man. He's in the house. Yes, you are, my friend. Yes, you are. We have Card Crazed. Love it, Rising Rhino Raid. Giant Fan 56. That's all right. We welcome everybody, man. Welcome everybody. Love to have it. Richard Carr's in the chat. Random Rock and Roll Rhino. It's all great, man. Love it. Love to have all you guys in the chat, chatting it up, talking, all that kind of good stuff. Love it. Okay. I'm going to show you guys something. And I want to know, is this, to me, this is very disturbing, because you would think, and I don't mean disturbing as in criminal or, catastrophic like that, but as an NFL head coach, Sean Payton should know better. Sean Payton should absolutely know better. And we already know that he shot his mouth off in comments about Nathaniel Hackett and this, that, and the other thing. Well, this is not something said, but something not covered up. All right, here we go. Sean Payton. Hold on, I'm I'm not going to reveal. With Sean Payton calling the offensive plays, the camera caught a picture of the playbook that Payton was holding for the entire world to see. Uh-oh. You got to be kidding me, right? So I looked it up. And guys, this is not photoshopped. This is legit. I've checked many, many different sources. It's all legit. Here it is, guys. There is Sean Payton's playbook. Part of it, the backside of it. It was 16-0 late in the third period, or the third quarter, I mean. And go ahead and screen capture it, guys, if you want to. You can look it up on Google. But that is the playbook. Now, I want to know, the guys in the booth for Kansas City, okay? The guys in the booth for Kansas City, they have monitors. They have televisions there so they can see what's going on in different angles that the cameras are showing. Could it be possible? Could it be possible that not only the Kansas City Chiefs offensive, defensive coordinators, whatever, were looking at the playbook and saying, whoa, look what we just got. We just got a gold mine. But also, this was on Thursday Night Football, guys, in broad, right on the screen. What's to say that other teams, the Packers, the Chiefs already have it, the Packers, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Vikings, the Browns, anybody else that we're going to play now has part of Sean Payton's playbook. I don't know what that means on there. I don't play football. I'm not in the NFL. But I'm just saying, the guys that are in the know that know what that means, now Sean Payton's got to totally change everything. So right in the midst of basically a little over 1/3 of the season, Sean Payton has to now deal with this as a seasoned head coach. You need to know you have got to cover up everything. Why not have a blank piece of paper or something behind it? Why in heaven's name is he holding it like that to broad daylight, to the cameras, the media? You know, the media, it loves to do what the media does best, and that is dirty laundry and expose teams and people that are down, because they like to kick them when they're down, like that old Don Henley song. I think it was Don Henley, what's it called? Dirty Laundry. That's exactly what the media loves to do. And Sean Payton gave them something to talk about, something to put on the internet, something to show the entire rest of the teams in the NFL, all 31 of them. And he did it right there on national television in a primetime game on Thursday night. Now, you know, I don't know if anybody out there watches baseball. I do. I'm a big Cubs fan. You guys saw that banner back here a while back. Big Cubs fan. When a pitcher or a catcher goes out to the mound to talk to the pitcher, and a pitching coach goes out and talks to him, or the manager, they always do this. They always cover their mouth like this and talk so that nobody can pick up the way they're saying the words. They can't, lip read. They do that person. The pitcher puts his glove over his mouth so they can't see what he's saying. Okay? Sean Payton doesn't. He just puts the doggone playbook right out there for the whole freaking world to see. Stupid. He's a 15-year seasoned head coach. You would think he would know better. Is Sean Payton doing this on purpose? Is he trying to trash the Broncos so they get a high draft choice? Is he trying to get the ownership and the general manager and George Payton so frustrated that they get rid of players, and then Sean Payton can bring in any player he wants, his own players? Golly, it sure looks like it to me. I mean, how do you blatantly do something like that? I mean, you got to know, Sean, you have to know that the media is targeting you. They're targeting you. They're targeting Russell Wilson. They're targeting anybody they can target on the Broncos, because the Broncos are the NFL's laughingstock. Plain and freaking simple, guys. I can't sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to. Am I frustrated? Yes, because this is another thing you don't do. He shot his mouth off about Nathaniel Hackett, and that came to bite him in the butt. And now he's putting out the playbook for the entire world to see. Is it the entire playbook? No, but it's critical on There's a couple of them that I saw where it's critical for like fourth down, not goal line, quarterback sneak. I mean, just headline right across the top. Hey, this is what our plays are for this particular lineup. 2-minute warning. That's another one in there for 2-minute warning. Take a closer look, guys. It's legit. It's not made up. It's not photoshopped. But it's alarming because Sean Payton should know better. And now the rest of the NFL knows what the Broncos' plays are on certain situations. If we're in a 2-minute warning, they're going to say, okay, hey, we know what these plays are. They might not get it 100% accurate, but they have an idea unless Sean Payton changes it. But now in midstream, he's got to change his game plan or play calls, his playbook, and now he's got to relay those to Russell Wilson, who now has to learn something new. Holy crap, can it get any worse? Seriously, guys, can it get any worse? My gosh, I don't understand this team. I don't. And just when I thought it was Vance Joseph's problem and Vance Joseph's fault, and then I find out Russell Wilson's 5-16 as a Broncos quarterback, dating back to last year and this year, and now Sean Payton giving away part of his playbook. What the hell else can happen? Seriously, what else can happen? Oh, gosh, man, I just don't get how stupid and just not paying attention. Not paying attention. It's common sense. Common freaking sense, Sean. Wow, the Broncos are an absolute mess. An absolute mess. Oh, want to welcome Stoneflyer Viking. Glad to have you. Says go Broncos. Love it. Yeah. Yeah, they're going all right. They're going down to Portsmouth and Fixture right now. Yeah, that's not good, man. Go Broncos. I still say go Broncos. I want them to win every week. Absolutely every week. But I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully they can get some wins. Brad Smith, nice to have you in the chat as always. Glad to see you. You're just asked a question about the very next topic I'm getting into, and here it is. Brad Smith says, hey, Bronco Bill, thoughts on Steve Smith's roasting of Jerry and Jerry's sideline reaction in Jerry Jeudy leaving? Okay, or excuse me, is Jerry Jeudy leaving? All right, let me get into that. All right, here we go. Hang on real quick. Archangel Music says, how old is Wilson now? I believe Russell Wilson is 36. He may be 35, but I'm pretty sure it's 35 or 36, somewhere in that ballpark. So he doesn't have many years left in the tank, that's for sure. All right, going back to what I think about Steve Smith roasting Jerry Jeudy, here it is. Jerry Jeudy called out by Steve Smith. Former Carolina Panthers star Steve Smith called Jerry Jeudy a third-tier wide receiver. Jeudy took offense to that and commented, and with this comment, he cursed out Smith and said, and I quote, I don't mess with you, don't mess with me, end quote. Okay, that's fair. I mean, nobody wants to be called out on the carpet about, and Jerry Jeudy is not a third-tier wide receiver. Jerry Jeudy was labeled the Broncos' number one wide receiver after KJ Hamler got injured, as well as Patrick Surtain. Not Surtain, thank goodness, as well as Tim Patrick. Okay, then Jeudy was elevated to number one. Cortland Sutton was number two. So to call him a third-tier wide receiver, he's probably referring to the fact that KJ Hamler and Tim Patrick are injured, and he would be third after those guys. Okay, that's all well and good. Go ahead and say that. But Steve Smith did not say that Jerry Jeudy is a third tier after Tim Patrick and KJ Hamler. If that's what he felt, if that's what he thought. He didn't say that. He just said that he is a third tier wide receiver. Well, that's wrong. That's totally wrong. Because if Jerry Jeudy went to the Colts, or Jerry Jeudy went to the Falcons, or Jerry Jeudy went to I don't know, Cleveland. I don't know anybody out there. I don't really follow the other team's receivers all that much. But if he went on to a team that needed a true quality wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy would not be number three. And you don't slam somebody like that. And the reason why I say you don't is how would you or me like it? I'll keep it personal to myself. How would I like it if somebody lambasted me at my job? I wouldn't like it. I'd take offense to it. I go, hey, what do you mean? I'm third tier, around fourth tier, whatever. What do you mean by that? I'm doing the same job you're doing. Hey, Jerry Jeudy cannot help that the ball isn't being thrown to him. And when it is thrown to him, it's very difficult for him to catch because he's usually double covered. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, Steve Smith, you retard, you moron. You don't double cover a third-tier receiver, and they're double covering Jerry Jeudy. So when you double cover somebody, the chances of you getting the ball all that often are not that good. Okay? Now, it's difficult in the NFL to get separation on a really good defensive corner, okay, or a safety. It's difficult to get open. Jerry Jeudy has the ability to get open, and he does get open. Russell Wilson sometimes doesn't see him, doesn't get him the ball, throws the ball, underthrows the ball, overthrows the ball, throws it wide, whatever the circumstance may be. But it's not Jerry Jeudy's fault if he's not getting the freaking ball. So Steve Smith, get off your high horse. Quit acting like you know everything that's going on, because you don't. But then Jerry Jeudy took it to the next level. Then after the game against the Chiefs, Jeudy was seen in the background of the NFL Network set dancing and yelling behind Smith. All right? Now, I don't condone that because two wrongs don't make a right. And Jerry Jeudy should have just, said his piece and said, hey, I don't mess with you, don't mess with me, kind of thing, okay? Say that and walk away. Be a better man. Take the high road. Don't drop down to his level, which he did. So then on national TV, he's behind there all dancing around and jumping around and saying stuff, and it didn't make himself look better. It made himself look worse. And Jerry Jeudy, you're already on the hot seat for being traded, which I think is stupid because Jerry Jeudy is a really good receiver. I really like Jerry Jeudy. I like him a lot. Yes, he may have some issues like that about dancing and stuff. But then again, I kind of understand where he's coming from. Somebody's going to trash you on national TV for something that you do, and it's not really your fault because the offense isn't. Now, if the offense was operating at, let's say, averaging 35 points a game, and Jerry Jeudy is only making one catch on 8 throws where he had a chance to catch him, yeah, that's a different story. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is the Broncos offense is sputtering. They're not going anywhere. And Jerry Jeudy isn't getting the balls because they're double covering him. Courtland Sutton made that ridiculous catch in the end zone Thursday night. Ridiculous catch in the end zone, one-handed, and brought it in and scored the Broncos' only touchdown. That was Courtland Sutton. But the bottom line is Courtland Sutton wasn't double teamed. He only had single coverage. Jerry Jeudy is being double teamed. That's why he's not getting the ball, Steve. So use your eyes, see what's going on, and quit making stupid comments about a guy who there's no need to pick on. Why are you picking on Jerry Jeudy? There's no reason in the world to pick on Jerry Jeudy. Reason why you're doing it is because it's an easy target, because the Broncos look like crap this year. That's why you're doing it, Steve. Plain and simple. You're trying to pat yourself on the back, trying to make yourself look better, and you're looking stupid. All right, I move on. Yes, I'm wound up. Big time wound up, man. Big time wound up. Okay. Big E says the playbook thing does not bother me at all because of the team was good enough, can actually tell their defense exactly what we're doing, and they just can't stop it. And look at 97-98. That's true. But Shanahan didn't telegraph his playbook either. He didn't telegraph his playbook, and I just don't like it because he should know better. Whether or not teams pick up on that and use it, or Sean Payton changes it, or whatever whatever transpires down the road. To me, it's the negligence. It's the negligence of not being diligent at what you're supposed to do. Not being proactive. And just things like that. That's what bothers me about this team this year. They seem very, very dysfunctional. And I've never seen a Broncos team so dysfunctional as I have the last 2 seasons. Seriously. I mean, we were dysfunctional under Vance Joseph as head coach and Vic Fangio as head coach. But I'm not too sure we were any worse than we are these last 2 years. And it's a combination of things. It's coaching, it's defensive coordinator, it's head coach is Sean Payton. It's George Payton. I hate to say it. I like the guy, but it's George Payton. And I think if this continues to spiral downward, the owners of this team, Walton Penner ownership group, are not going to stand for it. They're going to clean house, and it's not going to be pretty, guys. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be from the top down. And I mean George Payton all the way down to the, I don't know, the freaking water boy. I have no idea. But it's going to be ugly, and I don't want to see it. But I have a big fear it's going to happen. Absolute big fear it's going to happen. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, that's true. Brad Smith says, with Tim Packett injured, doesn't help. A lot of attention going to him. Absolutely. Talking about a lot of attention going to Jerry Jeudy. I agree. And that's what happens when you don't have your weapons. I mean, somebody's going to get double teamed. But if Jerry Jeudy is a third tier receiver, why is he getting double covered? I mean, that's what I would ask. I would ask Smith right smack down his face. If Jerry Jeudy is getting double teamed, how does that indicate he's a third tier? So, think about it, Steve, before you make stupid remarks. All right. Okay. Alex Smith says, Bill, should the Broncos try to restructure Russell Wilson's contract? What will happen with Jerry Jeudy? Well, I just mentioned what may happen to Jerry Jeudy. In fact, I'll get to that right now in this next segment. But answering your first part of your question, will they try and restructure? That's a possibility. That is a possibility. And they may offer it to him and just see what Russell Wilson says. If Russell Wilson still wants to stay with Denver and work through this thing for the next 3 years he has on his contract, that's a possibility. Do I think it's probably going to happen? I don't know. Like I said, it all depends on how the rest of the season goes, how much leash Russell Wilson has as being the starting quarterback, or whether they go to Jared Stidham to close out the season. I don't know. But if that's the trend they go to and they close out the season with Stidham, then that tells me Russell Wilson's probably on the way out. If they hang on to him and the Broncos do end up winning 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 games, whatever, down the stretch, then they probably will stick with him. So I doubt that he'll be traded if things seem to go better. Restructuring his contract is a possibility. Very true. All right. Second part of your question, Alex, was what will happen with Jerry Jeudy? Glad you asked. Here we go. With the Denver Broncos season headed in the wrong direction, a fire sale looks to be right around the corner. The Indianapolis Colts have called the Broncos in regards to a possible trade for Jerry Jeudy per Bronco sources. There you go. They've inquired about trading for Jerry Jeudy. Most people in the inside, obviously in the inside knowing, most people on the inside believe there will be a trade of Jerry Jeudy, just not sure it will be with the Indianapolis Colts because of what the Broncos are asking. So, to answer your question, Alex, it's this. Is Jerry Jeudy going to be traded? Most likely, yes. Along with Courtland Sutton, possibly Patrick Surtain, and maybe Justin Simmons or Josie Jewell. Those guys have been mentioned. Now, my take on that is this. I don't want any Bronco players traded. I don't want Jerry Jeudy traded. I don't want Courtland Sutton traded, because then what that's telling me is we're tanking and we're throwing in the towel in the season. And that is never a good look for Bronco fans, Broncos country, and Broncos ticket holders. It doesn't send a positive message. It sends, I'm giving up message, and that's never good. Okay? That being said, you have to have core players to build your team around. Offensive side, you have to have core players, and defensive side, you do. Absolutely. We cannot afford to trade a Patrick Surtain, a Justin Simmons, in hopes to rebuild. What are you going to rebuild around? Who are you going to rebuild around? You're not going to rebuild around anybody else that's any better than Justin Simmons and Patrick Surtain. That's for dang sure. That ain't happening. And then on the offense, who are you going to build around? Jerry Jeudy? Courtland Sutton? I say, why not? We don't know how Tim Patrick's going to come back. We don't know how KJ Hamler's going to come back, if he does come back. We don't know. We have no idea. You can't get rid of a Javonte Williams running back. That would be foolish. We got to build around our running backs. We have McLaughlin. We got to build around him. Okay? You have to build around core players. No other way to build it. You don't build a house on without a foundation. You have a concrete foundation like I do in this house. You build it on solid foundation. The Broncos' solid foundation on defense is Patrick Surtain and Justin Simmons, period. Build around them. Then on the offense, we have Javonte Williams, and we have McLaughlin, and we have Jeudy, and we have Courtland Sutton. Build around them. Don't throw in the towel. Don't say, throw your hands up, go, I give up. Don't do that. Then you're in for a 4 or 5 or 6 year rebuild. That is preposterous. That's stupid. Keep the guys you have now and then build around them. Make the team stronger, not weaker. You don't, like I said, you don't build a house on sand. Well, I just want to get rid of, I don't want to keep the concrete, it's too expensive and costs a lot and stuff like that. Well, yeah, it does. But you don't build a house on sand because it ain't gonna last. It'll fall down. You build it on concrete, solid concrete, the way you're supposed to. Same with the NFL team. You don't just trash the players, get rid of them, and then say, oh, well, we're going to start over. Start over with what? Nobody? Draft picks that are unproven in the NFL? No, you don't do that. Don't do that. Please, please, please don't trade Jerry Jeudy. Don't trade Courtland Sutton or Patrick Surtain or Justin Simmons. That, to me, would be absolutely idiotic, stupid, and just the worst thing that could possibly happen. Worst possible thing that could happen would be to get rid of those guys. Okay. Alex Smith says, I don't want him traded either. All right, you got that right. Don't do it. I'm just saying, Okay, so Big E says, the best way to screw the Kansas City Chiefs, try Justin Simmons, PS2, and Jersey Jones, or Jersey Jones. Who's Jersey Jones? To the Dolphins. No, I don't want Justin Simmons gone, and I don't want Patrick Surtain gone. No, I don't want none of them. That would devastate our defense. Our defense is already pretty bad at times. You don't want to get rid of the two guys that are the best part of the defense. You can't do that. You can't do that and build a quality team in the next year or two. It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. All right. Well, speaking of Broncos getting rid of people, the Denver Broncos couldn't find a trade partner for Frank Clark, so they released him today, Friday. San Francisco is considering signing him, but nothing has materialized as of yet. Well, there's one piece of getting rid of people, Frank Clark. So now we don't have Frank Clark, and we don't have is it Gregory we got rid of? Yeah, we don't have him. We don't have him either. So Randy Gregory. So the pieces are starting to fall, but they're not cornerstone pieces. They're not foundational pieces. Those are pieces that were picked up by George Payton that didn't materialize. So I agree with what Big E is saying right here. It says Detroit Lions did it 2 years ago. They traded everybody away, even the franchise quarterback. That is true. And the Detroit Lions are much better as of right now. You're right. But they still had to have some cornerstone pieces. They still had to have some foundational pieces to build around. You just can't get rid of the entire team and not have somebody that you want to build around. So, yes, it does take time. And now he corrects himself. It wasn't 2 years ago. It was 3 years ago. He says, Big E says that. It was, either way, I don't want another 3 years of futility. I don't. I want the Broncos to start getting better like today, tomorrow, next Sunday, whenever the next game is, a week from this coming Sunday. That's what I want them to get better. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of this team being the way it is for the last 6 years. Don't get rid of the players you need to keep for your foundation. Just don't do that, okay? Draft people, yes, that's fine and dandy, but don't get rid of your key players. Okay, all right. Now, former Bronco player, former Bronco player, Troy Fumagalli, has been signed by the Minnesota Vikings to their practice squad. Fumagalli was released by the 49ers practice squad this past September. Do I like that? Yes. I mean, the guy should have a chance to play. He hasn't played in an NFL regular season game since 2020 when he was at the Broncos, but he's been on different teams, and he just needs another chance. I liked Troy Fumagalli when he was with Denver. I did. I liked him. I don't think he was used correctly. I don't think that they got the best out of him, but hopefully the Minnesota Vikings can elevate him from the practice squad, put him in a couple of NFL games, get him back into the field for the NFL speed and all of that, and hopefully he'll end up having a good rest of his career. And I wish him all the best. I hope he does well, and I hope he gets on the field, and just hope he's not activated for the Broncos Vikings game in about 3 or 4 weeks, because he was part of the Broncos, albeit several years ago and different head coach, but still, that would be interesting if he played on the Vikings against the Denver Broncos in about 4 weeks. That would be interesting. All right. Okay. So last topic, guys. Thank you all for being in the chat on the show, being a part of it. I really do appreciate it every week. And thank you guys so much, as always. All right. Ownership shift. Okay, here it is. The Broncos CEO, Greg Penner, adds controlling owner designation as Penner children receive ownership stake. Whoa. Greg Penner is designating some of his ownership rights to his children. Okay, what does that mean? Well, I'll get in it. Hold on a second. Rob Walton has also transferred a block of his ownership position to Greg and Carrie's 4 children. Okay, not his own. It said Rob Walton, not his own, but to Greg and Carrie's 4 children. So now the Penner family has given it, Greg Penner has given some ownership stakes to his children, as well as Rob Walton has also given some of his to Greg and Carrie Penner's children. Okay. However, this is important. However, the children will not have a formal role or added presence with the team for the foreseeable future. There you go. What does that mean, guys? That tells me that when it comes down to Walton, the Walton Penner ownership group, as Rob Walton and Greg Penner as the main people, when it comes down to them walking away, we don't know when that could be. It could be anytime. I don't know. It didn't say foreseeable. It said not for the foreseeable future. It didn't say not ever. It said not for the foreseeable. That's the key word, foreseeable future. So that tells me that when it comes to time for Greg Penner and Rob Walton to basically step away from day-to-day operations of the Denver Broncos, the Penner children are going to take over. Or so it looks like. If they're giving them ownership stake, that means they're going to have a say in the Broncos organization down the road. Well, wait a minute. Didn't Pat Bowen's children have ownership rights as well? Yes, they did. Absolutely, they did. But the difference is they fought. Every single one of them was greedy, except for Beth and what's her sister's name? Beth and can't remember her sister name, but Beth was one of them. Beth and one of her sisters wanted to keep the Denver Broncos. They wanted to keep it in the Pat Bowen family name. Her brothers and other siblings were fighting because they wanted the proverbial money. They wanted the money. They want, hey man, I'm gonna be sitting on a gold mine, man. Come on, man. I want the money. Okay, I want a bug on my screen. Sorry about that, guys. They want the money. The girls wanted to keep it in the family. But the other siblings wanted the money, and therefore it had to be sold. I don't know what this means. This means that the children are going to have ownership rights, which is fine. But what does it mean for the future of the Denver Broncos if and when Greg Penner and Rob Walton walk away from controlling ownership and it transfers to the children? Then what? Are we going to be back into a situation like we were with the Pat Bowlen's children? Is that what's going to happen? I hope to heaven it doesn't. I don't know. But when I came across that article, I went, oh my gosh, you're kidding me, right? You're kidding me. They've only been owner for less than 2 years, and they're already giving ownership rights to the children already? Whew. I don't know what that means, guys. I don't know what the writing on the wall of that means. I can only speculate. And my mind's gone a million different directions thinking where this thing could go. Where it could go. And it could go horribly wrong. Remember my biggest fear, if you guys go back and seen any of my shows where I did not want the Walton Penner ownership group to get the Broncos for one reason only. I'm fearful that they would move them to Bentonville, Arkansas, where Walmart is the main corporate office is in Bentonville, Arkansas. And my fear was the Broncos would be moved there because Rob Walton wanted it closer to the corporate office of Walmart. And now if the children are going to be in control of this, maybe down the road sometime, and they want to move it to Bentonville, Arkansas, then what? It's going to be Bentonville, Arkansas Broncos or Bentonville Broncos? Holy smokes. I don't like this. I don't like it one bit. I don't know the reasons behind doing it other than what I've stated. It sounds to me like it's going to be handed down to the kids when they walk away. When is that? I hope not anytime soon. But that scares me. And now we're back into another dysfunctional situation, because now we got the issue with the team going 1-5. We got the issue with Russell Wilson not being like Russell Wilson of old. We have Sean Payton making stupid blunders things like with his playbook and play calling. The defense not performing well, and then sometimes they do, and the offense performing well sometimes, and then not. And now this. Like I said earlier, guys, how much more can go wrong with this team? How much more is going to go just catastrophic? I mean, my gosh, at this point in time, I don't know. Just blow the freaking thing up, I guess. I have no clue. Have absolutely no clue. But when I came across that last topic, I thought to myself, holy smokes. What's next? What's next? That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you have not, please do so. Do what is out there, and that is to hit the like button and subscribe button. Let's see. I'm trying to find him. Clayton Huron says that every single time. Hit the like button, smash that like button. Tell your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, your family, your animals, whatever. Tell somebody, anybody, and everybody to check out the shows on the MHRT network, as well as this show. There's shows Monday through Friday, and also the neighborhood of the Broncos. So check it out, whichever one you like. If you like them all, we'd appreciate it. Subscribe, like I said. And we really do appreciate every single one of you that watch, every single one of you that are in the chat. It's much, much appreciated. And I do this every time because without you guys, this show would not be nearly as good as it is. All right, shout-outs to Big E Bronco in the house, Clayton Huron, Avatar, Alex Smith, Keith O'Donnell. Sorry, Keith, I didn't get to your comment. I'll say it right now. The defense has been really sketchy this year. The only difference is Vance Joseph. Yep, I agree. Okay, going down the list again, we got Buana Beast. Thanks for being in the house as always. We got Rise and Rhino. Thank you. Card Craze, Giant Fan 56, Richard Carr, SR, Sonjay Flyer Viking, Teddy Boy. Glad to have you in. Muhammad Badri, thanks so much. My RD draw. Okay, thanks for being there. Thanks for comments. Thanks for your takes. Really appreciate it. The Dixon Way, thank you so much. Brad Smith, Archangel Music, really appreciate it. Felicia, JC's, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being in the chat and commenting. Everybody, thank you so much. You mean the world to me in being in the chat and being on the show. Really do appreciate it very, very much. Till then, guys, till next Friday, be sure to check out the other shows. Like I said, Monday, we have a new show. It debuted last Monday. It's hosted by me. It's called Elevation Orange. It's where I recap the previous game. Not sure it's going to be live this Monday. I'm going to be out of town, but there will be a clipping probably from this show if I'm not on live. But that will just be recapping the game between the Broncos and the Chiefs this past Thursday. Then on Tuesday, we have the 5280. Wednesday, we have the Wild Wild West. Thursday now, we have the cluster puck has moved from Monday to Thursday. That's now on Thursday. And then on Friday, this show, once again, Broncos Breakdown, hosted by me, Bronco Bill. We will catch you next Friday. Till then, guys, no Broncos game this Sunday because we played it last Thursday. So until a week from Sunday, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend and week. I will talk to you next Friday. Take care. Till then, guys, take care. Bye-bye.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every